Hello everyone and welcome to Caroline's Craftery. Today I just wanted to share with you how I made these cute little bookmark, and they turned out really cute. I recently went to a retreat and this was one of the things I made, and I made a whole bunch of them and they all turned out really nice. Not sure if you can see, but the flowers all have like a sparkle on them. So let's get started and I'll show you what I did. I hope I remembered to gather up all the stuff I needed for this. I've got some watercolor paints. I've got a Tim Holtz stencil. This one's the bubble one, which I'll be using, a little piece of cardstock, and I'll just show you the projects as I go along. Let's bring in a little plastic mat here, just so then that way I won't get my surface all dirty. And I did forget, I need my distressing thing. I keep it all in this container, all my these things. So I want my stormy skies. It is right up here, and actually I'm just going to use the little finger one for this. I'm going to use Stormy Skies Distressing. Now I started with a totally white piece of cardstock. Not sure on the weight. Probably, it feels heavier than a 65 pounds. So, and I'm just going to ink the edges. And I might not do this right, but it's the way I do it, and I just want to get the edges a bit darker than by the time I add all the other goodies to it. When I made 24 of them, I believe. And I tried to do a variety of colors and whatnot. Okay, so there's that. Now I'm just going to put some of this blue ink on my mat because I'm going to water it down here. So let's put that up there. I got a little spray bottle with some water. And I'm just going to try to get some in the center of my design. I can let it run if I want, but just want to, I don't want it white. That's okay. So there is that. So now we can let that dry. We'll set it aside. Let's wipe this up. Okay, and hopefully this will dry in time for us to do the project. So now I've got one of the die cut flowers. I believe this was one of the Tim Holtz ones, and it's on a very pale purple. So I'm going to take my watercolor, but I'm doing this one in mostly blues, so I'm going to wet one of these blue ones there. I've got a paintbrush, and I'm just going to do the flower part. I'm not I don't necessarily want to cover the whole thing. I just kind of want the paint on there kind of messily, I guess. There is that. I'm not not going to worry about the stems. If they're a light purple, I'm okay with that. Okay, so that's all we need of that. Lift that up and we'll wipe off our mat. If I can pick it up. There we go. Just wipe that off. I just wanted to give that a little bit of extra color on there. Okay, let's set that aside. Let's get rid of the paints. Now, I think this is going to be dry enough. Let's go to get my stamp. I'm just going to use the stamp here. You probably won't be able to see it. It's just got a script on it that you can't really read at all. And I'm going to use some archival vintage photo for this. And I don't want the whole stamp. I only want a little bit here and there on here, just to give it a little extra. Just like so. Nothing too serious. Then we need our flower, which is still wet, but I think we can work with it. Now I have some shimmer mist here, and it's in here because the other bottle stopped working. I have no idea what color it is. It's quite a dark teal, I guess. So we're going to give that a shake. Let's just put it on this paper towel here. And I just want to give the flowers a little squirt. Probably a little more than what I wanted, but that's okay. It's going to be quite a deep blue. Now this stuff dries fairly quickly. I'm just going to let that sit and I'll be right back. Okay, my flower is dry enough. Now, I'm not sure if you can see the shine. There's actually not a whole lot of shine in that, but that's okay. So I'm just going to glue it on top of the card. Now the card is still a bit damp, but I think it's dry enough for me to show you what I did. Normally I would do a whole bunch of these at one time. Kind of do a mass make of them like I did the 24 while I was away. You could do these any size, any color you wanted. Okay, that's just going to go right on there. The other ones I actually did on white cardstock and colored the stem. Actually, I didn't color the stems, I colored any leaves and whatnot. So there is that. Now, I want to make some colored modeling paste. Now, I'm using this here, Stevenson's acrylic. I actually bought it at a local shop when they were still open. They've since been closed. Now, I don't need very much of this, so I'm just going to take a tiny little bit. I'm just going to put it on this tray. And I'm probably, oops, making way too much, but that's okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use just some of this chipped sapphire, just because it's one of the only blue ones I've got. And I'm just going to put a drop on there because I don't want this really blue. I just want it a little bit blue. I'm going to mix it up, which is actually a bit darker than I thought it was going to be, but that's... Oh, actually it's looking good. Okay. So I'm just going to take this stencil and I'm just going to randomly put this down in a few spots. I don't really want to cover my flower at all, but if I get some on the flower, that's okay. It's just to kind of blend it in with some of the other. So there's that. It's a little bit different stencil than what I used for the other ones, but it doesn't really matter what stencil you use. Something with smaller little holes or stuff would work the best. So there is that. And once that dries, it's going to take a little bit, but I think we can finish what we need to do, because really all that we need to do now is put the ribbon on it. I'm going to use this here. This makes a little tiny oval hole. It's a Stampin' Up thing. Don't know if they still have it or not. And I'm going to try not to get any of the stuff on it. And I just happen to have a little piece of blue ribbon which will fit in here. And then I just stapled that down. And I use this Tim Holtz tiny attacher. I absolutely love this thing. I got rid of my other big office stapler and I use this now for everything. And there is a little bookmark. I've got to be careful because the modeling paste is still wet. I do prefer the more pastel colors, but I totally like how these turned out. Very easy to make when you're mass making them. The backs will be sort of colored, sort of not colored. Just from all the stuff seeping through, or, you know, what picked up from the table, etc. is what's on the back. So they turn. This one here has quite a bit of sparkle on it. The flower is sparkle and the stem. So now this one I did watercolor all the stem and the flower. But they turned out really, really good. I liked how they turned out. I used two different kinds of stencils. I used this one, same as that one, but this was a different one. But they turned out nice. They're colorful, but you're not too bright. Like I say, I tried to do a nice variety of colors. Some of these will be in the shop. That one there, not sure if you noticed, but I actually put the flower on. Well, I actually put the hole in the wrong end, but I thought, you know, it still works. Lots of fun to make. And remember to go and check out my Facebook group, and we will see you there, and we'll see you again here soon. Bye.